Welcome to the first episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. It's myself, Culturecams. You guys usually see me with the stoppage time crew, but now it's just gonna be a bit of myself and just freeing up my thoughts, man. Freeing up what I've been thinking about throughout the week, and a couple things have come to my mind, man. And I'm just looking at the game. I saw Liverpool playing on Sunday, and it just come to me like there was really discussions about Liverpool being the greatest Premier League side ever. And for me, I've touched on it briefly. I've said a little things about it, but there's no way that Liverpool can be in the discussion for the greatest team ever. I mean, yeah, you can talk about the accolades, but when does the eye test come into things? When does the player quality come into things? Because when you look at the team, for example, I look at this Liverpool team, there's no way player for player they talk to some of the great teams that we know, the Invincibles, the Chelsea, Uniteds. And I'm sorry to tell you, none of these great teams are losing 7-2 to a team that are probably going to be fighting relegation this season. And if not, then they've had an amazing year. You can't, for me, when you look at the team, Liverpool are a good team and I won't take anything away from them. In this era, you can only talk about this era. In this era, they're doing very well, but that's what I want people to start saying now. They are the best team of this era. They are the best team of that. I don't want to hear they're the GOATs, because GOATs is transcendent. And this Liverpool team, I'm sorry, are not transcendent. I just have to tell you, they're not transcendent. And let me go through it. The defending for me in this era is just weak. It's just weak. I'm hearing Van Dijk is the best in the world, which is fine. And maybe in this era, he might be the best in the world. For me, he's not. There's other defenders that are better than him. And everyone thinks because it's the Premier League that he has to be the best. But that's fine. But if you're talking about, I've heard him compared to John Terry. How many titles has John Terry got? 5? I'm hearing him compared to Rio Ferdinand. Hearing him compared to Vidic, Carvalho. Now, these are the top defenders of the era, of the Premier League era. And these defenders didn't only just win the league. They went back again. They went back and back and back again. United in 08-09 set a clean sheet record. I think it was about 15 games or something like that with Vidic and Rio of no conceding. Then you got Chelsea, 15 goals in one calendar year. No, in one Premier League season, 15 goals. 26 clean sheets, and that's not it. That's one individual amazing season. John Terry got the player of the year that year, which is fair play to him. That's one amazing individual season. But the reason why we call them the GOATs is because they had to go again. Just like how John Terry at that point in 05 would not have been called the GOAT, because there was other defenders. There was the Yap Stams. There was those type of guys before him, Tony Adams. You got to really do it year after year after year to be considered one of the GOATs. And that's what Rio Ferdinand done. That's what John Terry done. And that's what even players like Carvalho did. Players like that, they've done it year after year. Let's not forget where Carvalho's come from. He came from Porto, Champions League winners. He's done it. He's done it all. And I feel like people are just so prematurely just throwing Liverpool are the best team. VVD is the best defender, but I feel like everyone just needs to take a little breather a little bit, take a step back and have a look at things properly. Because when I look at VVD, I think, yeah, great defender. He's kind of like Rio Ferdinand in the way he defends, but it's not, you've got to do it year on year. And then when I'm looking at the attacking, they play one striker in this era up there, just one striker up top. You get so many games where VVD is allowed to back off, he's allowed to back off and other people can engage, he can jockey, he can see out the game. In the days of John Terry, in the days of Rio Ferdinand and them, they're playing with 2 up top. Big man, little man. Each second they're rotating. You might have Crouchy on you, flicking it, bullying you, elbows, this. Then you've got Defoe running around you, buzzing around you. So it's like, in this era, you've just got, boom, I know today I'm playing against Ollie Watkins. Do you know what I mean? You're playing against Ollie Watkins and that's it. That's all you got to focus on, his strengths. You let the fullbacks do their job. You let the centre mids do their defensive job. But and you and your partner know you're focusing on Ollie Watkins or whatever. I remember the days you have Alan Shearer, you have just a cog in Amiobi just causing trouble for no reason. You get it, the systems for me have made some players look better than they are in this era, and I feel like that's one for Van Dijk, in my opinion. When you're talking about comparing him to the GOATs and the GOATs, you got to do it year on year, and you just look at it. For me, since lockdown, Van Dijk has not been performing to the level that people have tried to put him at. He's not been performing, and other players will get blame, Gomez's and stuff. But I see it, the way I see it is I am looking beyond the surface. People are looking at surface level. I'm looking beyond the surface. I can see his performances has dropped. But listen, this isn't a VVD slander show, do you know what I mean? But for me, it's just the defensive levels. Let's go to the other teams. You've got Man United, Maguire. You've got Lindelof, you've got Eric Bailly. You go to Chelsea, you've got 36-year-old Thiago Silva, you've got Zuma. You go to City, you got Laporte. You've got players defending in this era has seriously dropped. Just think about the centre halves in this era. They're not top level. Maguire, in a real Manchester United team, Maguire would not be a Man United centre half. He wouldn't. And he is the highest paid defender in the world. And that just goes to show you everything. The defending in this era, for me, has seriously declined. And it's disappointing because I know everyone likes to see attacking football and stuff, but sometimes you want to see solid performances. You want to see headers. You want to see tackles. And for me, you don't really get to see enough of that anymore, man. You get a lot of mediocre defenders that think they're midfielders and want to play out the back, defenders that want to be stepping into midfield and driving. It's not the days of where you could just defend, do your job, go home and you're happy with a clean sheet. Now you got to do the extra little bit more, and I think it's making the game a lot more open or a lot more easy to get in behind. And that's why you got teams now. You got teams like Liverpool. You got most wingers nowadays. They don't even want to take people on. That's not the game. Now everything's just about getting in behind and try and score goals via that way. And for me, I think personally it's a weak era. So when I hear that Liverpool are in one of the greatest teams, blah, blah, it's like, I just can't see past it. I look at when Manchester United were going and Chelsea, and you had players like Ronaldo, you had prime Wayne Rooney, you had prime... They will be the best players of this era, in my opinion. Big up Mo Salah, big up Mane, big up those players. But when you talk about prime Wayne Rooney, Mane, you cannot chat to prime Wayne Rooney. When you're talking about prime Cristiano Ronaldo, Salah cannot chat to him. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. So that's just my little take. That was after seeing Liverpool lose 7-2. I've been thinking about this whole time, but when I see Liverpool lose 7-2 to Aston Villa, I mean, let's get serious here. Do you know what I mean? None of the top sides in the past Premier League era are losing like that. And you look at Man City, who are meant to be Liverpool's closest contenders this season. What are they doing? They're way off it. Man United, way off it. Chelsea, way off it. Spurs, way off it. So it'll probably be Liverpool bounce back from that and, go and cakewalk the league. But for me, it's just not that impressive. And if people want to call me a hater, or if people want to say that I'm waffling about that, then that's them. But hey, listen, no top teams are losing 7-2. Do you know what I mean? But in other news, there was something that caught my eye this week. Something that really caught my eye this week was Eric. It's Eric, innit? It's Eric. Erin, what's his first name? Erling for Haaland. Erling, right? Yeah, Erling. So you got Erling Haaland, right? That guy is special. That is a special player. He made the best decision of his career, or probably his whole he will ever do, by turning down Man United. By turning down Man United and deciding, do you know what? I think it's best for my development if I go to Dortmund, was the best thing that guy done. Because listen, he has gone to Germany and is eating off goals, playing in an attacking system, playing in a fluent system, playing with ballers like Jadon Sancho, Reina and Royce and others. And it's allowing him to flourish. And when you look at his game, there's not much that he can't do. Absolute bullet. The guy is 6 foot plus, probably like 6'2", 6'3". Absolute bullet. Strong header. He makes no mistake with his finishing as well. He's putting that in the back of the net, like hammering it in the back of the net if he has to. Cute finish if he has to. Movement is different level. And when I look at him, he's only 20 years old. And you think about the top youngsters in the world and you think about what the future is going to be, because we're just coming off an era now of Messi, Ronaldo. So when I think Erling Haaland is 20, who's next? Is he going to be the one that dominates the era, the next era? So then I thought, all right, cool. Who else can we compare him to? And the obvious one is Mbappe. So I'm thinking, can Mbappe, obviously they need to go to different teams, but can Mbappe and Haaland be the next kind of, obviously probably not as good because Messi and Ronaldo are talents from another planet, but can they be the next rivalry, the next Messi-Ronaldo rivalry that we've had? Can it be Haaland and Mbappe? Because for me, Mbappe is more of a wide forward. Mbappe has more skill. Mbappe has more creativity, and he's an absolute bullet. But Haaland's got other things that Mbappe hasn't got. He's got the strength. He's got the movement. Well, Mbappe's got good movement, but I think Haaland's is a little bit better. He's got something different. They're very contrasting in the same way that Ronaldo and Messi are contrasting. And I looked at the stats, and Haaland, in his time in football, has 93 goals in his career. 93 goals in 138 appearances. And Mbappe has 191 goals and assists in 188 games. These numbers that these two young boys are putting down is absolutely unbelievable. And when you look at it, they are playing in two leagues where people will say is weaker or whatever. You know, Haaland's in Bundesliga, Mbappe's in France. But what if they go to the same league? What if one goes to Real Madrid, the other goes to Barcelona, or one goes to Liverpool, the other one goes to City or something like that? What can we say about that? Do we think, and they continue these numbers, can we start putting them in the discussions of who knows? But that is what I'm looking forward to seeing, where their next move is. Because for me, Mbappe has completed France. He's won leagues, he's won Golden Boot, he's won this, he's won that, young player, this. Haaland, it's taken him how long to basically get the job done? Dortmund ain't going to win leagues because they've got Bayern Munich in their league. So we know they're not going to win leagues, but all he's going to do is put down numbers and numbers. And he's available next summer for 71 million. And Mbappe apparently is available for 91 million. So they both could be moving next summer. And I'm interested to see where they go. Because when you look at it now, I'm looking at the strikers in world football. Haaland is 20, but I'm looking at the strikers in world football. And I'm struggling to name you 5 that are better than him. Lewandowski, Benzema, Harry Kane, Aguero. He's very injury prone. I haven't seen him for a while. And then Haaland. You've got Aubameyang, but is he a striker nowadays? Not really. He's a winger. He gets a few cameos up front. But if we want to say him, then we can put him in. But if you're in the top 5 of your position, then especially in a position like a striker, you got to be seen as a world-class player. So for me, we've got two 20-year-olds who are or Mbappe's 21. We've got 2 players who are world-class already. Mbappe is world-class in his position. In my opinion, only Neymar's a better winger. Yeah, there's Mane, there's Salah, there's these players. But for me, Mbappe is the second best in his position apart from Neymar. And then you got Haaland, in my opinion, a top 5 striker who is available next summer. So everyone's going to be after him. So it's very, 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 very interesting what's gonna take place. And when you look at it, how many players have you seen? When Haaland came through, people were saying it's the Norwegian league, blah, blah. But he scored in Germany. He scored in the Champions League. He scores internationally. He's the real deal. He's the real deal. And of course, I don't even need to go through Mbappe's accolades. He's done it all. He's even won a World Cup. He almost won the Champions League. So for me, that I am looking forward to that rivalry. We talk about all these young players, the Mason Greenwoods and the Fodens and the Dembele and all these type of names. But them two are the two starring lights in world football at the moment. If you're talking about young, wonder kid, different level talents, and for me, there's no discussion. For me, them two are gonna go straight to the top. And then finally, I was talking to a few United fans. I was talking to United fans about, people ask me, what's your issue with Wan-Bissaka? What's your issue with Luke Shaw? What's your issue? The way the football has gone in the modern day, the way football has gone is the fullbacks have to attack. It's as simple as that. The fullbacks have to attack. You've got to be an attacking fullback to be a top team in this day and age. You can't name me a top team that do not have fullbacks that are technically sound. That's important, because people think when I say attacking fullback, it just means everyone's flying forward. You need to be technically sound. And when I say technically sound, I mean your first touch on point, your movements with the ball neat, your ball manipulation meaning neat. Because when you're passing out from the back, how are you gonna pass at the back if your touch is poor or if your touch is bouncy? Gone are the days where failed centre backs are fullbacks. Nowadays, wingers are fullbacks. Nowadays, centre midfielders are fullbacks. If we talk about the two best fullbacks, right backs in world football, people will tell me it's Trent, and people will tell me it's Kimmich when he plays there. Now he's back to midfield. Them two were centre midfielders playing at the back. And when I look at Wan-Bissaka, when I look at Luke Shaw, I'm sorry, United are in ancient times. They're not the standard if you're talking about attacking fullbacks. And I'm just going to read through just this week, the fullbacks that all had hands in goals this week or had different level performances. Cresswell, 2 assists this week. Lucas Dean, amazing game. Coleman, amazing game. Chilwell, goal and assist. Hakimi, assist. Tierney, we already know about him. He flies up and down, always outlet. Bellerin, 2 assists. Aurier, goal. Davies won the penalty because he's attacking. Manchester City, let's talk about City's fullbacks. They're so technically sound that they play inverted. Pep is freestyling with his fullbacks. He's playing them inverted. So, and then Trent and Robbo, the best fullback pairing probably in world football at the moment. Technically sound and efficient and fly forward. And that is the way the game is going. And that's why I try to tell people think I have a problem with Wan-Bissaka, or I have a problem. I don't know these guys. I don't have a personal problem with these people. But defensive fullbacks is not the way to go in the modern day anymore. And I'm trying to show people that is not the way. You can't have a fullback who's just defensively brilliant and then that's it. When you look at Trent, people say Trent can't defend, but in the same breath, they'll say Trent is one of the best fullbacks in the world. Why? Because he's so good going forward. But if I say to you, Wan-Bissaka is one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world, and I say, oh, but he's world class, you're going to laugh at me. You're going to say he's world class because he's not world class. But that's because you know subconsciously attacking is the most important thing in today's game. So when people are saying, because now what I've started doing is counting tally of every contribution fullbacks do. And let me tell you, I even took a screenshot of it, of the players that had the most touches in the Premier League last season. Yeah. Trent was number 1. Aspie was number 3. Robertson was number 4. Wan-Bissaka was number 9. And if you go further lower, there's more and more fullbacks. There's about 7 fullbacks in the top 15. The game is about getting the ball to your fullbacks now. If your fullbacks cannot attack, your team can't do nothing. And I'm trying to show people, if your fullbacks are not technically sound, your team are going to struggle. So when I was saying, people were laughing at me saying I'm crazy for I wanted Dalot to stay. United needs someone to get forward. Man United have fullbacks now that teams are allowing to get the ball so they can press them. You can't do that to Liverpool. You can't do that to... You've got Chelsea, who once Ziyech comes into the team, I expect probably to see Reece James getting a lot more games because he's going to be cutting in. You're going to need someone flying forward. Chelsea have defensive issues at the moment, so maybe Lampard might just want to shore it up. But unless you've got I think it was PSG. I think PSG got to the final and they had that centre back guy, right back, Carrera, something like that. He was playing right back. But who's in front of him? Kylian Mbappe. He's generational. Not everyone's got generational players. Liverpool's system, who people say are the best, blah, 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 is their fullbacks. City, so key to their fullbacks. And this isn't just new. This is going back years and years and years. You look at Zabaleta. That guy was flying forward back in the day. Gary Neville. People laugh at Gary Neville. His overlap on Beckham. Gary Neville can put in a very, very good cross. So he used to overlap. It's the days of the fact that Man United fans are comfortable with Wan-Bissaka, the best defensive in the world. Yeah, that's nice. And by the way, he's the best defensive 1v1 defender in the world. We're talking about defense. He has his faults, but 1v1, yeah, he can handle most people. But we're about to go into the Champions League, where technical ability is everything. Fullbacks are football now, and I'm trying to show people fullbacks is where the game's going. Failed centre midfielders are fullbacks. Failed wingers are fullbacks. You don't get Jamie Carragher's playing fullbacks no more. John O'Shea's, Wes Brown's. That era's gone. Football moves on. That era's gone. And Man United are living in the ancient times with Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka on the fullback. But hey, listen, that's me. First episode. Just thought I should come through it. These are things that I've been thinking about. These are my frustrations. These are my thoughts. Shout out my boy Jack Grealish. Put on an absolute masterclass against Liverpool. And when I talk about that was a big fumble by Man United not signing him. Absolute top player. But maybe I'll do something. I'll probably be speaking about him every week eventually. But shout out Everton as well. There's a lot of people that I can shout out. But listen, catch me next week for episode 2. And yeah, this is Don't Shoot the Messenger. I'm out.